The moment Bad Bunny stepped onto the Super Bowl halftime stage, history was already being made, but not in a way that everyone expected. This wasn't just another performance meant to fill the break between quarters. This was a statement, a cultural moment, and for millions of viewers, a test of what the Super Bowl halftime show is supposed to represent. For the first time in Super Bowl history, the NFL handed the halftime spotlight to an artist who primarily sings in a language other than English. That decision alone guaranteed conversation. The question wasn't whether the performance would be memorable. The real question was whether it would connect with the audience watching from living rooms across the United States. Bad Bunny opened the show by walking through a field of workers, immediately setting a tone that felt deliberate and symbolic. The scene didn't linger long before it transitioned smoothly into what felt like a street-level dance party rooted in Puerto Rico. The pacing was fast. The visuals were layered. The energy never dipped. In terms of spectacle, the show moved with confidence and intention from the opening seconds. From there, the performance unfolded almost non-stop. Crowd surfing blended into tightly choreographed sequences. Then came an actual wedding moment, staged seamlessly into the flow of the show. It was busy, colorful, and immersive, the kind of presentation that doesn't allow the viewer's attention to drift. For a halftime show, where momentum matters as much as music, Bad Bunny clearly understood the assignment. As the performance escalated, the surprises followed. Lady Gaga appeared on stage for a Latin-infused version of Die with a Smile, and she matched the moment with full commitment. Her presence didn't feel like a gimmick. It felt integrated into the vision of the show. Shortly after, Ricky Martin joined in, offering a brief but impactful appearance that added another layer of recognition and nostalgia. The cameras didn't limit themselves to the stage. Viewers caught glimpses of Pedro Pascal and Jessica Alba dancing along, reinforcing the idea that the performance was not confined to one space. It felt like a celebration happening everywhere at once, extending beyond the performers and into the crowd itself. Eventually, the pace eased. The high-energy sequences gave way to a more reflective closing moment. Bad Bunny addressed the audience directly with a clear message of unity. Sed, lo único más poderoso que el odio es el amor. Even for viewers who didn't speak Spanish, the sentiment was unmistakable. Love stands taller than hate. At that point, the intent behind the show was clear. This wasn't just entertainment. It was meant to be inclusive, expressive, and culturally representative. From a production standpoint, the execution was polished. The transitions were clean. The symbolism was deliberate. Yet almost immediately, frustration began to surface. Online reactions shifted quickly from discussing the visuals to debating the music itself. Many fans acknowledged the quality of the production, while admitting they struggled to connect with the performance. One viewer described it as one of the best set designs they had ever seen, while also admitting they were not a fan of Bad Bunny's music. Another viewer expressed a different kind of disconnect. They said they watched the show but didn't enjoy it because they couldn't understand Spanish. They acknowledged that the showmanship looked impressive, but the language barrier prevented them from fully engaging with the performance. Those reactions didn't exist in isolation. They became part of a broader narrative that began circulating almost immediately. According to online discussion, millions of Americans reportedly tuned out or boycotted the halftime show altogether. Whether every claim was accurate or exaggerated, the perception of a large-scale disconnect took hold. What made this backlash unique wasn't anger directed at the artist himself. Much of the frustration was aimed at the NFL. For some fans, the halftime show represents a shared cultural experience, one that traditionally centers around familiarity. When that expectation shifted, discomfort followed. This situation exposed a deeper question about the Super Bowl halftime show's purpose. Is it meant to reflect the evolving cultural landscape of the audience? Or is it meant to cater to the broadest possible comfort zone? Bad Bunny's performance forced that conversation into the open. From one perspective, the show delivered exactly what it promised. It showcased a global artist at the height of his influence. It highlighted Puerto Rican culture on one of the largest stages in sports. It emphasized unity, celebration, and artistic expression. For many viewers, that was not just acceptable, it was overdue. From another perspective, the performance felt inaccessible. The language barrier wasn't something those viewers could overlook, no matter how strong the visuals were. For them, halftime entertainment is as much about singing along as it is about watching. When that element disappears, the experience changes. This divide didn't emerge quietly. It played out in real time across social media, comment sections, and conversations the next morning. Some praised the NFL for taking a risk. Others questioned whether that risk came at the expense of connection with a core portion of the audience. What's important to note is that disagreement doesn't automatically equal failure. The halftime show has always been a reflection of its era. Every generation remembers at least one performance that sparked debate. This one will be remembered for expanding the definition of what a Super Bowl halftime show can be. The claim that millions boycotted the performance became a headline of its own. Whether viewers tuned out intentionally or simply disengaged mentally, the reaction was loud enough to matter. It revealed how deeply personal the halftime show experience can be for fans. Bad Bunny didn't shy away from the moment. The message he delivered at the end of the show was direct and intentional. Love over hate. Unity over division. That message wasn't subtle, and it wasn't accidental. It framed the entire performance as something bigger than individual taste. The NFL, by choosing this performance, also sent a message. It signaled a willingness to spotlight voices that reflect the diversity of its audience, even if that choice came with pushback. That decision will likely influence future halftime shows, whether through similar risks or cautious adjustments. For fans who felt disconnected, the frustration was real. Feeling excluded from a shared cultural moment can leave a lasting impression. For fans who felt represented, the show carried a different weight entirely. Both experiences existed simultaneously. The reaction to this halftime show wasn't just about music preference. It was about identity, expectation, and what the Super Bowl represents to different people. That's why the conversation didn't fade after the final whistle. It continued, evolving into debates about inclusion, tradition, and change. As the dust settles, one thing is clear. This halftime show will be studied, referenced, and debated for years, not because it was universally loved or hated, but because it forced the NFL and its audience to confront how wide the Super Bowl's reach truly is. Bad Bunny delivered a performance that stayed true to his roots and his message. The NFL provided a platform unlike any other. The audience responded in divided fashion. That combination ensured this moment would not be forgotten. Now the question shifts from what happened to what comes next. Will the NFL continue to push boundaries, or will it recalibrate based on the backlash? Will fans become more open to performances that challenge their expectations, or will resistance grow louder? That's the conversation this halftime show started, and it's one that doesn't have an easy answer. So let me ask you this. When it comes to the Super Bowl halftime show, should the NFL prioritize broad familiarity, or should it reflect the evolving culture of its audience, even if that means some viewers feel left out?